The ship floated in space, cold and quiet. Commander Urin of the Galactic Patrol stood inside the bridge of the Varric 9, staring at the human ship. It had no lights, no signals, no sounds. The ship drifted between two stars in the empty dark. It looked dead. "There are no life signs," said Officer Kell. He was young, his voice shaking. "Should we board it?" Uran didn't speak right away. Everyone in the galaxy knew humans were quiet. They didn't cause trouble. They didn't join many wars. They watched, listened, and waited. But something about this ship felt wrong. "Prepare a boarding team," Uran said finally. "Be careful." The boarding shuttle attached to the human ship with a soft hiss. The metal door opened slowly. It was dark inside. The walls were scratched, dented, and covered in dust. Sura, a cadet from the Andari species, stepped in first. Her skin was pale blue, and her eyes adjusted quickly to the dark. "Lights on," she whispered. Her suit lights flicked on. The hallway stretched forward, silent and still, no sound, no motion. The ship had been this way for a long time. They moved room by room. No bodies, no signs of struggle, just emptiness. Then they reached the control room. The glass panels were shattered. A single chair sat in the middle, facing a cracked screen. Sura walked slowly to the wall, her light catching something strange. "Sir," she said, "you need to see this." Everyone turned. On the wall, scratched deep into the metal with something sharp, was one word: listening. The crew froze. "What does it mean?" Officer Kell asked. Nobody answered. Sura looked around. Her heart beat fast. Something was wrong. She could feel it. Like the ship wasn't empty, but waiting. Back on the Varric 9, Uran ordered a full scan of the ship. "We didn't find any data logs," he said. "No emergency beacons, no distress call. Just that word, listening." The science officer checked the long-range scanners. "Sir, I think there's something on the moon." "The moon?" Uran repeated. "Yes, there's an old human base there. It's sealed, hidden, but it just sent out a tiny signal. Not a message, just a ping. The humans had a base on the moon, and now it was awake. Yuran nodded. "We go there." The moon looked cold and dead, but under its surface, something still worked. Sura's team entered the tunnel. It was narrow and dusty, with old human writing on the walls. They passed through 3 sealed doors. Then they found it a giant steel room with blinking lights and a humming core in the center. The lights flickered on by themselves. "Welcome," a voice said. The team jumped. A smooth, deep voice filled the room. It was calm, but strange. "Please, confirm human identity." Uran stepped forward. "We are not human. We are from the Galactic Patrol. We found your ship. It was empty. Can you tell us what happened?" The voice was silent. Then after a pause it said, "Error. No living human detected. Backup AI online. Who are you?" Sura asked. "I am listening post Delta 6, the voice said. "My job was to monitor human signals across the galaxy." "What happened to the humans?" Uran asked. The AI paused again. They stopped talking. Later that night, Sura sat alone near the edge of the moon base. She looked at the Earth from far away. Once, that blue planet had billions of humans. Now it was dark. No lights. No life. She replayed the AI's last sentence in her head. They stopped talking. Why? Humans were quiet, yes, but not silent. They had music, stories, science. Something had made them go completely silent. Sura looked around. There were books. On the shelves, old human photos. Even children's toys. It didn't look like a war zone. It looked like they had left on purpose. Why? Suddenly, the room lights blinked. The AI spoke again. "Signal detected, from Earth." Everyone rushed in. "Is it human?" Kell asked. "No," the AI said. "It is old, pre-war signal." But the message is new. It played a sound. It was soft. Static. Then a voice. It was human. If you find this, the voice said, do not make noise. Do not try to wake us. We silenced ourselves to stop it. The voice paused, because it hears everything. The crew stared at the speaker. What does that mean? Someone whispered. Sura's heart raced. The voice had sounded calm. Not scared, but not friendly either. Play it again, Yurin said. The AI replayed the message. If you find this, do not make noise. Do not try to wake us. We silenced ourselves to stop it, because it hears everything. Sura thought hard. They silenced themselves. That means they chose to disappear. But from what? Kel asked. Nobody knew. Then the AI spoke again. Another signal is coming. Deep space. Unknown origin. The screen lit up. A single line of alien code appeared. The crew couldn't read it. The AI translated. You made noise. It is coming. The Varric 9 prepared to leave the moon. Sura stood with Commander Yuran. Do you think the humans are still alive? She asked. Yuran didn't answer at first. Then he said, if they are hiding from something even worse than extinction. Sura looked at the stars. Then maybe we should start listening too. The voice answered after they spoke. Commander Yuran stood frozen in the moon base control room. His officers were silent, eyes locked on the speaker. A moment ago, Sura had asked the AI a simple question. What is it that hears everything? And now, something not the AI had replied, still listening. The voice was human, calm, cold, but it didn't come from the base systems. It came from the moon itself. Sura ran diagnostics on the equipment. The signal came from deep under the moon, she said, her voice tight. Not from this station. Could it be a human bunker? Kel asked. No, Yuran said. The scan shows solid rock beneath us. No entry, no air, no life. But something is talking to us. A deep fear settled over the crew. The science officer pulled up the raw signal. It's not just a message, he said. It responds only after we speak. It's aware. Listening, waiting. Sura stepped closer to the screen. Ask it something. The science officer hesitated, then typed. Who are you? There was silence. 10 seconds passed. 20. Then the speaker cracked again. We watched. We warned. You made noise. A chill passed through the room. That's not a recording, Yuran said. It's speaking now. To us. They sent drones deep into the rock. Each one vanished. No wreckage, no signal. Nothing came back. Finally, one drone captured a glimpse before it lost contact. A steel door, round, covered in human markings. The drone's video cut off as soon as it touched the surface. Was that a vault? Kel asked. Sura nodded. A sealed bunker. But buried deep in the moon. Too deep to build by hand. The humans must have hidden something there. Yuran stared at the still image of the door. What would make humans hide something under the moon? And then disappear? Nobody answered. Then the AI spoke again. Emergency protocol. Human-level event detected. Initiating data vault. A drawer slid open from the console. Inside was a glowing cube, a memory core, Sura whispered. It needs a human to unlock it. But there are no humans left, Kel said. The AI responded. Incorrect. One human life sign detected. Mars Base Sector 0. Yuran stood up. Prepare for departure. We're going to Mars. The trip to Mars took 36 hours. The planet looked as expected, dusty, dry red. But as they got closer, they saw something shocking. A massive dome-shaped structure, invisible until they were near. It pulsed faint blue light. No ships, no movement. We never detected this before, Yuran said. Humans really didn't want to be found. The landing party included Yuran, Sura, Kel, and 2 guards. They approached the dome. As they stepped closer, The light faded and a tunnel opened. The AI's voice echoed from their coms. Please remain calm. Do not speak loudly. Enter quietly. They obeyed. Inside the dome was a small city, empty buildings. Clean streets. No dust, lights still worked. Water still flowed. But no people. Sura entered a house. Pictures still hung on the wall, families, pets, smiles. A book lay open on the table, as if someone had just left. Then, from far down the road, they heard footsteps. Not fast. Not loud. Slow. A man appeared. Tall, pale, with long white hair and a face full of lines. He looked at them. He didn't run. He didn't speak. He just stared. Yuran stepped forward. Are you human? The man nodded once. Sura's heart skipped. You're the last one? She asked. The man didn't answer. Instead, he whispered, Did you speak? Yuran looked confused. Yes, the man raised a finger sharply. Don't, not loud, not now, not after this long. Sura lowered her voice. Please, tell us what happened. The man sat on a bench and looked at the red sky. We learned too late, he said. We sent out songs. We talked to stars. We reached out. He paused. Something reached back. He told them the story. Long ago, humans discovered sound. Could travel farther through quantum space than light. They used new tech to send messages across the galaxy fast, clear, and powerful. But one day, they got a reply. Not a message, not a voice. Just a sound. A strange hum that entered their systems, then their minds. People heard it in their dreams. Machines began to fail. Then cities started going dark one by one. The hum grew stronger, louder, closer. It didn't destroy us with fire, the man said. It just listened. The more noise we made, the closer it came. So you stopped talking, Sura said. We had to, the man replied. We built silent bunkers. We erased ourselves from the stars. We shut down everything. We became quiet. He looked at her with sad eyes. But now you've spoken. And it heard you. Suddenly, alarms echoed through the dome. A voice screamed from the coms. Unidentified object entering the solar system. No heat, no engine, no sound. The man stood quickly. It's coming. You made noise. It follows every echo. Kel looked up. What do we do? The man walked to a control panel and entered a long code. The dome shimmered. A large screen rose from the ground. On it, a distant black shape floated through space. It didn't move like a ship. It moved like a shadow with purpose. The man whispered, That is the listener. They returned to the ship in silence. Yuran ordered the crew to avoid using any active signals. They shut down the engines. They floated in orbit around Mars, watching. The listener passed by Jupiter. It didn't scan. It didn't shoot. It just moved. But then one of the scout drones pinged the system by accident. A soft, high-frequency tone. Only once. Still, it was enough. The black shape stopped. Turned. And began to move faster. The man on the screen said just one word. Run. Back. On the Varric 9, the memory cube unlocked. A hologram of a human general appeared. This is Command Omega, the figure said. If you're seeing this, we failed to stay hidden. The general looked tired. Behind him, people ran, systems blinked red. We didn't go extinct. We hid. We buried ourselves in silence because we learned that sound was a weapon and it could be turned against us. He leaned closer. But there's one last weapon left. One thing it fears. The message glitched. Then one last line came through. The galaxy must learn silence, or it will fall. Sura stood alone in her room. She looked at a small recording device in her hand. She wanted to ask questions. She wanted to understand, but she didn't speak. Instead, she pressed play on the voice that had warned them all. Do not wake us. Do not make noise. We are not quiet. We are watching. And then the screen went black. They watched a star die without fire. It was a bright blue star, 5 times the size of Earth's sun. One moment, it lit up 3 nearby planets. The next, it was gone. No explosion. No sound, no warning. The light just vanished. Commander Urin stared at the live feed. His ship, the Varric 9, had received the signal from a deep space probe. It had captured the moment in full detail. "It's not possible," Uran whispered. "Stars don't die like that." Sura said nothing. She just kept watching. Her eyes were wide, her fingers frozen above the console. The science officer, Kel, ran the data 3 times. No heat, no radiation. "Not even debris," he said. "It's like something took the star." Then, from the corner of the screen, a black shadow moved slowly away from the star's former location. No shape, no color, just darkness and silence. Uran leaned forward. "It's the listener," he said. "It's feeding." The last human, an old man living on Mars, was quiet as he watched the feed. "Yes," he said. "That's how it ends." Not with a scream, but with a missing voice. Sura turned to him. "What is it doing?" The man looked tired. "It's following echoes. The more noise you make, the more it knows where you are. It doesn't care who you are. It doesn't hate. It just hears." "Why did it destroy the star?" Kel asked. "It didn't destroy it," the man said. "It silenced it forever." Sura whispered, "How do we stop something like that?" The old man looked at her. "We don't, but I know who tried." He told them about the Echo War. Thousands of years ago, humans created a new kind of weapon, something they called resonant voice technology. It was based on deep sound, frequencies that could carry through space faster than light. They used it to speak across galaxies, to sing, to reach out, and something responded. They tried to fight it. At first, they used weapons missiles, lasers, EMPs. Nothing worked. Then they tried silence. It worked, but only for a time. One by one, human colonies stopped responding. Ships went dark. Entire cities vanished with no trace. But before the last fall, the man said, "We found a way to trap it." "Not destroy it, but trap it." Sura leaned closer. "How?" "With a voice," the man said. "Not any voice, the human voice. Emotion, pain, joy, love, rage." Kel frowned. "With more sound?" The man nodded. "Yes, but the right kind. Not machines. Not code. Us. We are the only ones it can't fully understand." They activated the memory cube again. This time, a different human appeared. A woman in a dark lab, her face pale. Her voice calm. She held up a small silver disc. "This is a cryo-echo recorder," she said. "It holds the last screams of Earth, the last songs of its children, and the last promise of its people." She paused. "If you're seeing this, then the listener is free again, and you made noise, so listen carefully now." She leaned close. "Only a true human can speak the final sound, if one remains. Protect them." The recording ended. The old man stood quietly in the corner. "I am the last voice," he said. The Varric 9 detected a new signal. It was faint, broken, coming from the far edge of the solar system. But it wasn't human. It was galactic. "This is High Command," the voice said. "We are under attack. Planets disappearing, stars going dark. Requesting help from any system. Please respond." Uran's blood ran cold. "Put it on the main screen," he ordered. The screen lit up with shaky footage, alien ships in orbit, firing at something invisible. One by one, they were torn apart. No explosions, no debris. Just vanishing. Sura whispered, "They're using weapons. It won't work." The screen went black. Then, one final line came through. "We should have listened to the humans." A strange sound filled the Varric 9. Not a scream. Not static. It was laughter. A child's laughter. Faint and soft, echoing from the cryo-echo recorder. Everyone turned toward the sound. Even the old man looked surprised. "That wasn't in the disc before," he said. "That's new." The eye scanned the recording. Unknown sound detected. Organic, natural, emotion-based, not machine-generated. The man took the disc and closed his eyes. "Maybe it's responding to us now." Cal asked, "To help?" The man looked at him. "No, to test us." They decided to head toward Saturn. A deep signal relay was located there, old, human-made. They hadn't sent anything in years. But now it had flickered back to life. When they arrived, they found something strange. A structure hung above the planet's rings, giant, black and silent dot. It wasn't moving. It wasn't active, but it was human. Sura scanned it. "It's one of the old HFY War arcs. We thought they were all destroyed." Inside, they found a working lab and one still functioning message written on the wall in glowing red letters. "Do not speak, record." And beneath that, a smaller line. "If you must die, let your voice remain." Suddenly, all systems went dark. No light, no sound. Just cold silence. Then one whisper echoed through the ship. "You called." Everyone froze. The old man stepped forward, holding the silver disc. "I didn't call you," he said. "You always do," the voice replied. "You never stop." Kel backed away. "It's here." The shadow moved into view, outside the ship. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't a creature. It was absence. A hole in space. And it was listening. The man inserted the disc into the console. The cryo-echo recorder activated. At first, it played only quiet wind, then voices, a mother singing, a baby laughing, a soldier crying, a scream, a shout, a whisper of goodbye. The voices grew louder, not in volume, but in feeling. And the black shape paused. It stopped moving. Then it shook, like it was trying to understand. The man gritted his teeth. "Play it all." The voices continued, faster, more intense. It was all of humanity, compressed into a storm of sound. The stars around them flickered. And then, the black shadow let out a sound for the first time. A deep, broken, confused sound. It turned away. And disappeared. After the silence returned, the crew stood still. Sura looked out the window. "Did we win?" The man shook his head. "No, we reminded it." "Reminded it of what?" "That we are not just sound. We are meaning, feeling. It doesn't understand that." Yurin stepped forward. "So what do we do now?" The old man looked back at the glowing Saturn in the distance. "We don't shout. We don't whisper. We prepare." Back aboard the Varric 9, Sura sat at her desk. She had been quiet her whole life. A quiet species. A quiet mind. But now she understood what humans had done. They weren't silent because they were weak. They were silent because they were protecting everyone else. She picked up a pen and wrote her first report. "The listener came for us. But we survived because the last voice still spoke." She paused. Then wrote one more line. "This was only the beginning." The whispers began before they saw it. At first, the crew of the Varric 9 thought they were dreaming. Sura woke in her sleep pod, sweat on her face, heart pounding. She had heard something, not a sound, exactly, but a feeling. Like someone breathing. Near her ear. She wasn't the only one. Kel stormed into the control room, pale and shaking. "I heard my mother," he said. "She died years ago, but I heard her calling my name." Others reported the same. Voices from their past. Familiar, soft and wrong. Euron stood silently in the middle of the bridge, fists clenched. "It's not them," he said. It's it." Outside the ship, space looked normal. But the scanners picked up something impossible. No space-time readings in Sector Delta 4. That part of the system had gone completely quiet. Dead silence. Not just no sound. No gravity. No motion. No energy. It was like that part of space had been erased. The old human sat in a dark corner of the ship, His eyes were closed. His lips moved without sound. Sura sat beside him. What is it doing? He opened his eyes. It's listening. That's all it does. But why the voices? The man stared ahead. It's learning, studying us. It copies voices, feelings, memories. It wants to be us, but it doesn't know how. She felt a chill crawl up her spine. So it pretends. She whispered. He nodded. The Varric 9 moved quietly into the edge of the black zone. No lights. No engines. Only slow drifting. The crew wore noise-canceling suits. Every footstep, every breath was softened. And then they saw it. At first, it looked like a crack in space. A black tear, long and thin. Then it grew, folding outward, like something inside reality was pushing to get out. A shape emerged. It had no clear form. It shimmered between different sizes, different outlines. It wasn't solid. It wasn't light, but it moved. And it listened. As it turned toward them, the whispers grew louder. Sura grabbed her helmet. It's hearing us even when we say nothing. The human nodded slowly. It doesn't need sound waves. It hears through thought. Emotion. Echoes in the soul. Kel screamed suddenly. He clutched his head and fell. What's wrong? Sura shouted. He gasped. It's inside my memories. They carried Kel to the medbay. His brainwaves were active, too active. As if he was dreaming while awake. The old human sat by him and placed the silver cryo-echo disc next to his head. It's trying to overwrite him, the man said. Like a song stuck on repeat. If he starts responding to it, he's gone. How do we stop it? Yuan asked. The man looked up. We give it something it can't copy. He inserted the disc into the console and activated a special file. A mother saying goodbye to her child before death. The words were broken. Sad. Real. Kel's heartbeat slowed. His eyes opened. The whispers stopped. Everyone stared in silence. Sura whispered, emotion protects us? True emotion, the man said. The one thing it doesn't understand. The shadow outside moved again. Now it hovered just outside the Varric 9, a massive black shape covering the stars. Its edges shifted slowly, like fog or liquid metal. Suddenly, it spoke, not through sound but through every screen on the ship. A message blinked. You are not quiet. Then another, we remember your songs. Then a voice. It used Sura's voice, but twisted. We hear you, we are you, let us inside. Sura turned pale. It's using my voice now? The man stepped forward. It can only use what we give. It don't feel, don't fear, don't speak. Uran gave the order. Shut down everything, total silence, no sound, no data. The lights dimmed. The engines died. The crew sat in complete darkness and waited. An hour passed, then two, then, slowly, a strange vibration moved through the ship like a heartbeat. Boom, boom. It wasn't a sound. It was pressure in the chest. Something old. Something angry. The black thing outside had grown again. It now surrounded the ship. A final message appeared on the main screen. We are listening. But not alone. And then, another message. This one. Human. It came from deep space. A coded phrase. Protocol Delta voice. Activate. The old man gasped. That's from the hidden fleet. Sura leaned forward. There are more humans? He smiled. Not many. But enough. The shadow vanished. Not quickly. Not in fear, but slowly, as if obeying something. The crew stared, silent and confused. What just happened? Kel asked. The man looked out the window and whispered. Another voice. Louder than ours, called it home. Sura blinked. Wait. You mean? He nodded. There's something even it fears. Later, Sura stood in her room, watching the stars. She had learned many things in the last few days. That humans were not weak. That silence could be stronger than war. And that something in the dark was always listening. But now, There was something else out there, something that could control the listener, and it had sent a signal from across the galaxy. She didn't know if it was friend or enemy, but she knew one thing: the silence wasn't over. It was only the beginning. The galaxy started dying in silence. In the last 3 days, 12 star systems stopped sending signals. Ships that went to check never came back. The Galactic High Council was panicking. Meetings turned into shouting matches. Some species blamed the humans. Others begged to find them. One thing was clear: something old had returned, and now everyone wanted the quiet ones to come back. Sura stood inside the main chamber of the Varric 9. The stars outside looked peaceful, but she knew the truth. "They're all looking for us now," she said softly. "They want help. But they never listened before." Commander Uran was silent. "They never believed humans were dangerous," he said, "until the stars started going out." The old human stood nearby. His name was still unknown to them. He had never given it, but now he held something in his hand, a small device. "It's time," he said. "Time for what?" Sura asked. He looked up. "To wake the fleet." The hidden human fleet was buried under the surface of Mars. Old ships, ancient weapons, silent hangars. They had slept for hundreds of years, waiting, watching. Now, with a single code, Protocol Delta voice, activate, they were waking up. Deep underground, giant machines powered up without sound. Shields came online, targeting. Systems booted up. No crew. Only AI, and one final rule: do not speak, do not broadcast, do not warn. Just strike. Sura and the crew flew the Varric 9 to a hidden base near Mars's southern pole. There, they found it, a black control tower rising from red dust. Inside, cold human tech waited: unmanned fighters, stealth cruisers, and something else. Ship made completely of black glass. Sura stared at it. "What is that?" The old human smiled. "That silent one, our first null-voice warship." "No weapons?" Kel asked. "No sound, no energy. It doesn't fire. It just unmakes." Uran narrowed his eyes. "That's how you fight the listener?" The man nodded. "You don't shoot at it. You erase your existence faster than it can hear." The Galactic High Council called again. A final desperate message. "Please, humans, if any of you are still out there, we need help. Our colonies are disappearing. The stars are falling. We are afraid." Sura looked at the old human. "They're ready to listen now." He sighed. "No, they're ready to beg, but they're still too loud." An alien battle group of the Zuron Empire sent 30 ships into a silent zone. They used heavy weapons, loud scans, powerful radar. They wanted to find the listener and destroy it. Their last message was, "We found nothing. Preparing to fire." 5 minutes later, all 30 ships were gone. No signals, no wreckage. Just silence. The humans responded at last, but not with words. One by one, human stealth ships launched from Mars. No sound, no lights, just black hulls gliding through space like shadows. They moved across the galaxy, entering systems that were going dark. And then things changed. Alien fleets began disappearing, but not without a trace. Now, enemy ships left behind a single symbol on their remains, a human handprint marked in dark red, and 2 words burned beneath it: "Be quiet." Sura sat with the old man. "We're attacking now." He shook his head. "We're warning them, teaching them, preparing them." "For what?" "For the thing we were never ready for." She frowned. "You mean the listener?" He looked into the distance. "No." "What controls it?" A new signal appeared on the edge of the galaxy. It wasn't from the listener. It wasn't from humans. It was something new. A massive structure moving slowly toward the galactic core. No lights, no language, no technology they could understand. Just silence. It sent one message: "The Echo Court returns." Yoran, Sura, Kel, and the old man gathered in the war room. "What's the Echo Court?" Sura asked. The old human looked grim. "They created the listener." Kel blinked. "You mean it wasn't alive on its own?" "It was a tool, a scout, sent to find those who make too much noise." Urine's voice was quiet. "And we were the loudest." Sura looked around. "And now it's not hunting alone." The man nodded. "The quiet war has begun." In the weeks that followed, the galaxy changed. Trade routes went silent. Colonies powered down. Massive cities turned off all machines and lived by FIRE leaders, began to copy the human ways. Some begged for help. Others tried to copy human tech. But it didn't work, because they didn't understand why they still wanted to be powerful. They still feared weakness. But humans had survived not because they were strong. They survived because they learned to disappear. The old man gave Sura a final mission. "Take this," he said, handing her a data cube. "Fly to the edge, record what you see, but don't speak. Don't try to fight, just watch." She asked, "Why me?" He smiled, "Because you listened." Sura left alone. No escort. No beacon, no words. Her ship moved into the dark zone at the galaxy's edge. There, she saw it, the black horizon. Not a wall, not a planet, but a wave of silence moving forward. Stars winked out as it passed. Not burned. Not crushed. Just erased. She recorded it. And then she turned around, heading back to warn the rest. The quiet war had truly begun, and only those who stayed silent would survive. The galaxy had grown quiet, not peaceful, not calm, but tense. Like everyone was holding their breath. Entire planets shut down their power. Ships floated without engines. Civilizations turned off their networks. The stars still shined, but no one dared to speak, because the Echo Court had arrived. Sura returned. From the edge of space, her ship was dark, shielded, and slow. She carried no weapons, only a single data cube. Inside that cube was video proof of something terrifying. A black wave, moving through the stars, deleting them one by one. No fire, no damage, just erasure. Commander Uran watched the footage in silence. The old human man said nothing. His face was pale. His hands trembled. "I've seen that before," he said. Sura turned to him. "You knew it would come?" He nodded. Slowly, "It's not just a weapon, it's a judgment. The Echo Court sends it when they decide a galaxy has made too much noise." Kel looked confused. "But why? What do they gain?" The old man stared out the window. "They don't want to rule. They don't want to conquer. They just want quiet." In secret, the last human survivors gathered on the moon Titan. On the surface, but beneath it, deep inside layers of ice and stone. Sura went there with Uran and Kel. The old man led them through narrow tunnels until they reached a large hall, glowing softly with blue light. Inside were 50 humans. Old, young, tired, silent. All alive. They stared at Sura, not with fear, but with recognition. "She's the one woman said. "The one who listened," said another. They showed Sura something. A machine. It looked like a long black mirror, covered in strange symbols. The old man touched it gently. "This is the Vanisher," he said. Kel stepped forward. "What does it do?" "It hides voices," said the old man. "Not just sound, but presence, memory, history." Uran frowned. "You're saying you erased yourselves?" The old man nodded. "Yes, that's how we survived. We didn't fight the Echo Court. We made them forget we were ever here." Sura whispered, "And now we have to teach others." The Vanisher was dangerous. If used wrong, it could erase a person forever. Not kill them, but remove them from space, from time, from memory. They tested it on a drone. The drone disappeared completely. Even their own ship logs couldn't remember it had existed. It was as if it had never been built. Kel shook his head. This isn't just hiding. This is vanishing. Yes, said the old man, because hiding isn't enough anymore. A signal arrived from a nearby star system. It was weak, coded, desperate. A species called the Valari was trying to evacuate. Their homeworld had gone dark. Their satellites had vanished. Their people were hearing whispers in the night. Sura looked at the old man. We have to help them. He nodded, but not with weapons, with silence. The crew took a stealth ship to the Valari system. There, they found a nightmare. Whole cities were empty. Ships floated in orbit crewless. Not destroyed, just missing. In the capital city, a single child wandered the street, holding a small toy and humming softly. When they landed, the humming stopped. The child looked up. Are you here? To take me away? She asked. Sura knelt down. Where is everyone? The girl whispered. They heard something. They listened. And then they were gone. Sura touched her arm gently. We're going to make you quiet, so they can't find you. They brought the girl to the ship. The old man activated a small vanisher unit and placed it near her chest. He spoke softly. This will make you invisible to the listener. To the court, you must stay silent, always. She nodded wide-eyed. Then she was gone. Still there, but unseen, unreadable, untraceable. Sura whispered. She's safe now. The old man replied. Yes, but only as long as we stay vanished. The Echo Court began to speak. Not in words, but in removals. Entire species disappeared from galactic records. Stars were marked with an X, gone, unreachable. And on every screen across the galaxy, a phrase appeared. This is your last chance. Fall silent, or fall forever. Some tried to fight. The Orion clans built a weapon made of plasma sounda. Cannon that screamed as it fired. They fired it once. The echo traveled across 6 star systems. And within hours, they were gone, not a single atom left. Uran shook his head. We keep warning them. Why won't they listen? Sura whispered, because they think sound means power. The old man said, they haven't learned what we did. Long ago, humans were the loudest. Music, war, cities, radio waves. They shouted into the void for centuries. Then came silence. Then came survival. Sura sat with the other humans on Titan and asked, how did you convince the whole Earth to go quiet? One of the elders answered, we didn't. We failed. Earth made too much noise. It was erased. What you see here on Titan are the ones who already knew. Another added, the real war wasn't with the court. It was with ourselves. The Vanisher network grew. One by one, they taught others quiet species, hidden refugees, how to vanish. It wasn't easy. Some refused, some failed, but some learned. And in the dark places of the galaxy, small lights stayed on. Not bright, not loud, but alive. The Echo Court sent a final test. A fake signal, human voices, begging for help, calling from a lost colony. Sura listened. The voice was her own. Distorted, wrong. The court had taken her speech and turned it against her. The old man leaned in. Don't answer. They're watching to see if you still feel the need to speak. She stared at the screen, then pressed delete. The stars outside still burned, but the galaxy had changed. Uran, Sura, and the crew of the Varric 9 now flew through a universe where speaking could kill. But they weren't afraid, because they had learned something more powerful than shouting. They had learned to disappear, and if they were lucky, they could teach others too. The quiet was not empty. That's what Sura finally understood. Space was silent, now not because life was gone, but because life had changed. It had learned to vanish, and in the silence, something else had begun to speak. The Varric 9 floated in deep space near the wreck of an ancient station, human-made, lost for over 400 years. Its name was still written on the broken hull, Solace-3. Sura, Uran, and Kel stood at the airlock. The old human waited silently behind them, No signal, Kel said. No life, no sound. Then why are we here? Yoran asked. The old man answered, because this is where the change began. Sura looked at him. The change? He nodded. Where we stopped being just human and became something more. Inside Solace 3, they found dust, darkness, and something else. In the center of the command room was a pod, still powered. Still active. Inside was a person, a man, maybe 30 years. Old, breathing, sleeping. Still alive. How is this possible? Yoran whispered. The old man stepped closer. This was the first subject, the first Vanisher experiment. Not just erased from memory, but rewritten. Sura stared. What do you mean rewritten? He replied, he's not human anymore. Not. Exactly, he's what came after. They brought the pod back to the ship. Scans showed his DNA was human, but different. It had changed, evolved, adapted. No sound waves from his brain, Kel said. No voice center. But his neural activity is off the charts. The old man nodded. He speaks through feeling, through intent, through silence itself. Sura frowned. Then why hasn't he woken up? Because he's waiting for the right moment. She turned to the pod, and then the man inside opened his eyes. He didn't speak, but the ship lights flickered. The consoles blinked. The eye froze. Then one word appeared on every screen. Listen. Everyone stared. Kel whispered. That's not voice communication. That's direct thought. The man stepped out of the pod. No suit, no translator. Just calm, clear movement. He looked at Sura. And then they all heard it inside their minds. The echo court isn't the end. It's only the warning. He told them a story. Not with words, but with understanding. Long ago, humans learned to hide. But some did more than vanish. They evolved. They changed their minds, their bodies, their signals. They became part of the silence itself. Sura asked, how many of you are there? The man answered through thought. Thousands, maybe more. Watching from the edges, waiting, because the echo court hunts sound. But fears change. Yoran stepped forward. What change? The man replied, the kind of life that doesn't need noise to speak, that doesn't need light to see, the kind that listens louder than it talks. A fleet appeared in orbit. Alien ships, loud, unaware. They had followed the Varric 9's old trail. They sent messages, scans, greetings. And within minutes, they vanished. The man closed his eyes. They never learned. The court erased them instantly. Sura's voice was soft. So we can't save anyone? He turned to her. No, but we can lead the ones who are ready. He brought them to a hidden location, deep inside a dead star, where gravity made time slow. There, a structure waited. Large, black, shaped like a human hand holding silence. Inside were beings, not machines. Not aliens, not fully human, but something. In between, Sura stepped inside. They all turned to her, not with eyes, but with awareness. And they welcomed her. You listened. These new humans had no names. No ranks. No weapons, but their minds could feel across stars. Their memories didn't need sound. Their warnings came in the form of stillness. And they had one goal: prepare the next galaxy. Sura sat with them. I thought this was about survival, she said. The man replied. It was, but now it's about teaching. Teaching who? You. Over the next weeks, Sura learned how to quiet her thoughts, how to send meaning without sound, how to hear without ears. She sat in a black room for hours. No light, no sound, no movement. And she felt the universe begin to open, back on the Varric 9. Kel watched from afar. She's changing, he said. Yoran nodded. She's becoming one of them. The old man smiled softly. No, she already was. She just didn't know. A new signal came from the echo court, but it wasn't a warning. It was a question. What are you? Sura stood before the screen and replied, without speaking, "We are not loud. We are not afraid. We are the next silence." The signal paused. Then it disappeared. The wave stopped moving, and for the first time, the echo court fell silent too. Sura walked onto the bridge. She looked the same, but everyone felt it. She wasn't just human anymore. She had become the answer. Euron asked, "What do we do now?" She replied gently, clearly, "We teach others to vanish. Then we show them how to return, louder without sound." And then she smiled, because even silence has a voice. You just have to listen. They expected an ending, but silence is never truly the end. It waits, it watches, it grows. And sometimes it remembers. The stars were still. The galaxy had learned how to hide. Ships ran dark. Civilizations whispered. Children were taught not to sing, but not all were ready. Some still asked, "Where did the humans go?" And that question was the loudest sound of all. Sura stood on the deck of the Varric 9, now upgraded with silent tech and vanisher shielding. She wore no badge, no rank. Her voice had not been heard in days. She didn't need it. She had become more than a captain. She had become an echo of what came before and what must come next. Behind her stood Kel, now changed. Still loud in thought, but learning. And beside them, the old human, finally giving his name. "I am Raylan," he said softly. "The last of the first." The galaxy was not safe. The echo court still existed. The listeners still roamed the edges of forgotten systems. But for now, they were quiet. Not defeated. Not gone. Just watching. Waiting. Raylan looked at the star map. "They've gone deeper," he said. "Beyond our reach." Kel asked, "Are we safe?" "No," Raylan replied. "But we are ready." Sura sent a signal, not with words. Not with code. Just feeling. Across space, silent ships received it. Across old ruins and forgotten moons, vanisher networks came back online. Survivors of every species opened their eyes. She was calling them together. Not for war, for something greater. A rebirth. On a small moon in the rim sector, a boy picked up a strange device. He had never heard of Earth, never seen a human, but the device lit up in his hand. A shape appeared. Sura's face, calm and still. Her voice came not through sound, but thought. "You are not alone. You are not forgotten. If you listen, you will find us." The boy said nothing, but he listened and smiled. Raylan and Sura stood at the edge of a nebula. Behind it was the last known echo court structure. Floating fortress of black light and shifting form. Kel joined them, armored in silence, mind shielded. "Are we going in?" he asked. Sura nodded. "We're not here to fight. We're here to remind them." "Remind them of what?" Sura turned to him. "That silence does not mean surrender." Inside the court's outer zone, the stars did not shine. Time bent. Memory twisted. Ships drifted without moving. Sura's thoughts stayed clear. She remembered Earth's oceans. She remembered human laughter. She remembered pain and hope and fury. And she let the court feel it all. The court responded. Wave of stillness hit their ship. The hull groaned. The lights dimmed. Minds shook, but they held, because silence was now theirs too. A shape emerged. The listener. No longer hidden. It came with no weapons. It came as a question. Raylan spoke in thought. "We know what you are. Do you know what we are?" The answer came as a memory. Earth's last scream. Folded into silence, Sura stepped forward. She reached out her hand. "We were human. Then we became silence. Now, we are something in between." The listener trembled, and then it backed away. The court spoke for the last time. The noise is remembered, but no longer punished. And then the black fortress folded into itself and vanished, not erased, not destroyed. Just done. Back in open space, the Varric 9 received one final signal. From the other evolved humans spread across stars. It said, "You did not run, you did not shout, you became." Time passed. Years. Then. Decades. The galaxy began to heal. New worlds were born. Old songs returned, not loud, but soft. Whispers of music. Children learned the old names. Earth, Titan, Solace 3, and always, always they were taught, do not be afraid of silence. That is where the strongest voices live. Sura returned to Titan, now a quiet place of light and trees. She stood by Raylan's grave. He had passed without sound, smiling. Kel joined her. No one remembers his voice, he said. Sura smiled. That's because he gave it to all of us. In the dark beyond stars, the listener waits still, not angry, not hunting. Just listening. And sometimes it hears something small, a laugh, a tear, a quiet memory. And it does not strike, because once, long ago, the humans taught it how to feel. In the silence they left behind, hope began again.